Brice Brown, Edna Karr, it never gets old. I mean, you can't take it for granted. I know you didn't, because there were a few years where you didn't get there, and you were busy in the broadcast booth. Now you're back on the field again. Just talk about getting back to the championship game.
I think it speaks to the tremendous hard work that the players and the coaches have put in. Like you said, you can't take it for granted. Every time you have a chance to play in the state championship game, it's really a blessing.
The road to get here, you played a very challenging schedule. You beat everybody. You beat a really good team last week, so you can't be better prepared for this, right?
Well, I think, it's so early in the week still. We're still preparing, coming out of meetings after meeting. Monday is a very long day for us in our preparation, but, this year it seems as though we've got to play a lot of people twice. We've had to play Jesuit twice. Even Catholic having to beat them twice from last year in the same type of circumstance, and now having to play St. Aug twice, it's very different for us, but we'll approach it just like we do any other game.
Talk about being able to tough one out last week, because your defense really did that for you last week, and how important is that to win a game like that since you haven't been challenged very much?
Yeah, I think, that got us ready for this physical game that we're going to play on Saturday, playing Catholic in the semifinals. But I think the defense, we know St. Aug going to have some rankles, and they're going to max protect and try to keep Richard off of the quarterback, and they're going to try to isolate a little bit, because I think that's what they have to do. But I think we have to counter that and say what's going to be our counter when they go to a lot of max protection.
What do you take away from the first game when you beat them by 3 touchdowns? Anything in particular that you took away from that game?
I thought there was a lot of missed opportunities, even though we did beat them. But they had a lot of missed opportunities as well. They'd probably look back and say, okay, well, if we could have did this, we would have had this. But I think in this game, the venue speaks for itself, and the players won't be able to hear the coaches yelling at any adjustments. You have to be able to communicate on our own outside, in the dome, and that's what we've been doing, especially starting yesterday, where the coaches are giving the instruction and the players are retaining that information and communicating with each other on the field.
This Superdome Classic was created because of a game between St. Augustine and Jesuit back in 1978 that drew 44,000 people. How big is this to have the two most influential African-American schools in this community, if not the state, playing each other, and what would it mean to maybe set records for attendance?
Yeah, I think the St. Aug people are mad that they can't wear purple. I think that's the one thing they mad about. But I think but what makes them gracious and happy are they back in the Louisiana Superdome. But unfortunately, we're the high-ranked team, and we'll be wearing purple on Saturday.
You are wearing purple. You've confirmed that. There we go. Got it first. So it is significant community-wise to have these two schools in this game. I know a lot of people were pulling for this because they knew the significance of it, and I know the LHSAA knew what kind of attendance you would have. You got to believe this is going to be amazing with people coming from all parts regardless of their affiliation.
The worst part about it is, we expect 40+ thousand at the game, right? So I think that's the obvious. But the worst part is that each of the schools won't benefit from this. The state will make most of this money. But that's, you can't have it all, right? So we'll take it, but it would have helped St. Aug tremendously. I know it would have helped Edna Karr tremendously. If we would have reaping out the benefit from our own rewards. But we'll take it.
You've got a lot of great players finally, but you got Richard and John here today, and you won't have them anymore real soon. Just talk about what they meant to your program.
Yeah, I talked to them about that. It's time for them to move on. After their last game, they've given all that they could give to their high school, right? And I think what not a better yet place to end it, right? In a place where they've always strived to be, and to finish the last games at Karr in the Superdome, that's the best place we could be. Win, lose, or draw. I think this is the exact path that these kids have strived for and worked for 4 years.
You mentioned the venue. How much does having played there in the regular season of week 2 help in terms of preparation for this week? Some of the things that you maybe don't need to do when you get in there Saturday afternoon?
Well, I think the crowd is going to be number one. I think it's going to be huge. But playing in that space, once you get into the flow of the game, it's really like nobody's there. I think you just really got to hone in on that first quarter, because the first quarter is very important when you play in the dome.
You have a message for anyone planning on attending, Coach?
Be early. You got to come early to this game. If it was me, I probably would come 30 minutes before the first game, so I could get a good seat because it's going to be a show. St. Aug has a tremendous program, a tremendous history, but the opponent that they're playing has one too. And I think this is good for the city of New Orleans to showcase the best two teams in the top class of our state and play in a venue like the Louisiana Superdome.
After the win over Catholic, you talked about your defense. I know your defense sort of headlined that championship win last year. What do you like about the way they're playing right now and how they've sort of powered you at this point of the season?
I think we're playing real aggressive. I think we're playing aggressive but sound. We're tackling well. We did miss a couple of tackles on quarterback power last week, but I like how we're tackling collectively as a defense and running to the football. Offensively, we got to clean up some stuff in the red area. I was just telling Ro Brown about the rain in the semifinals. It seems to always rain in the semifinals, but it won't be an excuse on Saturdays. It's all about execution and knowing your job.
How do you quantify what Richard brings to your defense? I mean, obviously, the stats aren't off the charts like maybe John or somebody like that, but how does he change the game with what he does on the defensive front?
I think he changes it because, he can run to the football, he can rush the passer, he can be on the run fit. But I think it's a tribute to all the players that's around him, right? So I think that's why we anticipating so much max protection because of what he brings in the game. And I think perimeter run, we have to stop that. We have to set the edge. But I think, what Richard brings to the team is everything that we all have seen, right? A tenacious player, that's one of the best players in the nation.